And I just want you to know that the government will do all we can to help you and your family during this period.
Mr. Cummings didn't stay at his home in London, where he was filmed earlier this year. Instead, he travelled more than 250 miles to see his elderly parents in County Durham.
This is the food parcel she received, supposed to feed her daughter for 3 days. But aside from several bags of raisins, it contained very little food.
Happy New Year. I know, it's almost mid-February, but still, nevertheless, hope you had a good New Year. Crazy times we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy times, to say the least. We've got our Prime Minister Boris Johnson, you know, running the country. And honestly, the only thing I could say about that is what a fall from grace. Because Boris, mate, you used to be in peak physical fitness. You were an athlete. You were shooting hoops, playing rugby. You were flying high. Then what happened, man? Now you're just starving miners, ruining lives, and stealing advertisement campaigns from the mid-2000s. Now, as fire as those old adverts used to be when you were watching a movie, Boris, mate, you can't blame the public for what is going on with this pandemic, alright? Because although the public is comprised of a couple of foolish people, myself included, it's not the entire of the UK's fault. You can't run an advertisement campaign trying to make the mass public feel guilty with these advertisements saying, look them in the eyes, coronavirus is your fault, you're the reason that they are dying. You can't run an advertisement campaign like that when, you know, the public are the only ones at fault. Because as much as the public did wrong last year by breaking lockdown and going out, it's not like they had a good example to follow, because the government themselves couldn't even keep to the restrictions. And if they're not going to keep to the restrictions, how on earth do you expect the people to follow their rules if they're not even sticking to the rules that they set? You know what I mean? It's I don't know if the term's a catch-22, but whatever the term is, it's one of them. In March, when it was the first lockdown, the first wave of coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, right? The scientists that we have in the UK, I can only imagine they are the most prestigious of scientists, right? They warned the good old Prime Minister and the government about the threat of coronavirus. They said that this many people could get infected and that this many people could die. And this is what Boris decided to do with that information, knowing the threat of coronavirus.
I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody, you'll be pleased to know, and I continue to shake hands. And
tell me why this guy was going to hospitals, shaking COVID patients' hands, then going on to national television and shaking the host's hands. Like, this guy's leading our country and this is what happened. Like, no wonder we're in this type of mess, and they want to run a campaign saying that's the public's fault when he was literally transmitting the disease on national television for everybody to watch. But there's a reason they were so relaxed, because apparently, according to some people who were at a meeting by the government in the Batcave or some shit, I don't know where they had this meeting, but apparently it was so top secret, one of the guys apparently leaked the conversation, and they said, herd immunity, protect the economy, and if that means some pensioners die, well, too bad. That is a quote taken from the super secret meeting, allegedly, that the government had. If you don't believe me, I'll leave an article where I found this information too in the description if you want to read about that. And now these people are going on the television and saying shit like, we did everything we could to avoid as many deaths as possible, but when you failed to ignore scientific advice and carried on delaying the inevitable, how can you say that you did everything you could do to avoid the deaths? And on top of that, how could you make the public feel like it was their fault? Like, obviously they had a part to play by going out and breaking the lockdown, but like I said before, it's not like they had the best example to look up to.
Can I ask your thoughts and opinions on whether you think coronavirus is actually real?
I think it's like sort of real but not, and I kind of think that this new strain that came about is just another bullshit thing that Boris has pulled from his ass.
Do you think coronavirus is real?
There's any other disease, yeah.
No, I think the 5G towers invented it from Chinese government.
I don't think it's there. It's just all fake.
Alright.
Yeah, it was predicted like a couple of years ago in like a Simpsons and something.
Do you think the Simpsons can really predict the future?
Yeah, I think Donald Trump's going to die in January 2021. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I just think it's real.
Thank you for watching. I uploaded. Yeah, it might have been 9 months since my last upload. What are you gonna do about it? So yeah, don't forget to dislike, unsubscribe, drop a hate comment, and yeah, I'll see you in 2 years' time when I upload again. Peace.
Fuck the coronavirus.